Redditors with roommates. What are some of the weirdest things a roommate of yours has done? College roommate. We are taking a road trip to upstate New York, approximately 4-hour drive, and I notice that he has a CDR titled Conversations with John on it. So I ask John what that is. He's hesitant but tells me it's a CD he listens to on long road trips. I pop it in, and the first track starts. It's John himself. Howdy cowboy. How's the road ahead? I turned it right off, and we never spoke of it ever since. In college my roommate pretended he had a girlfriend who lived in England. We are in the US. Used to talk to her on the phone and everything, while we would both be in the dorm. My roommate was FB friends with her of course and a few of her friends who he had met while visiting her. He used to talk about how much he missed her, especially having sex with her etc. Found out after I moved out she never existed. Fake profile, fake name, fake dicks. He was talking to no one, except himself, on the phone. I have no idea why he'd go to such lengths for this lie, but I felt really weird about the whole thing once I found out. Not my current roommates, but I had a roommate in college that used to play Bittersweet Symphony on repeat all day, every day. From the minute I moved in, to even after I moved out, I moved down the hall to another kid's room, because this is just one of the super weird things he used to do, and I still used to hear it constantly playing whenever I'd walk by. I really used to like that song too, but it's ruined for me now. Thought they could clean the shower by leaving it running super hot with the door closed all day. Maintenance had to come pry the door off its frame just to get it open. The wood had swelled up so much from all the moisture. I was doing my business in the bathroom one day and my roommate opened the door to see me sitting on the toilet. Most normal people would say oh sorry and close the door, but he didn't. We just made eye contact for maybe 20 seconds. Then, without breaking eye contact, he slowly stepped into the bathroom, opened up a drawer under the sink, reached around for whatever he was looking for, still keeping eye contact, and slowly backed away, out of the bathroom, and closing the door. We never talked about it. My roommate in freshman year of college was this really tall, total bro of a hockey player. When he went to bed one night, I was surprised to see from across the room he took an old stuffed bunny toy in pajamas from under his pillow and kissed it goodnight before hugging it close to him. I soon observed that this was part of his bedtime routine, but I never mentioned it. Had a roommate that was easily distracted by things. Anything. He could have thought about why stars are certain colors and then go on a mission to find out why. Or maybe it would be a curiosity of the air pressure in his tires. The problem was that when this happened he would just wander off from whatever task or activity he was doing at the time. So many burnt dinners and messes left throughout the house. I was the roommate in this scenario. I was having trouble sleeping, so my doctor prescribed me Ambien. He warned me that I should take it and go straight to bed, but I didn't listen. One night I took some Ambien, but decided I wanted to play some video games still. After about an hour of video games I decided I still didn't want to go to bed and I wanted to watch a movie. The last thing I remember is deciding to leave my computer chair to do this. The next morning I wake up in bed and head to the kitchen to grab some breakfast. My roommate comes up to me laughing and tells me he's got some pictures to show me. He proceeds to show me a picture of myself sprawled face down on the living room floor with my hand on the entertainment center. Apparently, I got to the living room and tried to turn on a movie, but instead the Ambien finally kicked in and I fell asleep mid-button press. He said he was worried I had died and checked my breathing, but saw my chest/back rising, so instead laughed and took pictures. Never uses a full roll of toilet paper. There is always at least a 1/4 of the roll left when it gets tossed. I can't figure out the reason. He washed his feet every night before bed and kinda did a little tap dance on a towel to dry them. The walls were thin, so I could hear it every night. So I'm 32 years old. Husband and I rent out 2 rooms, one of which to a guy we have nicknamed the Ghost. He pays a set fee, doesn't eat any food, does his laundry at 3 AM. Other side of the house, sound insulated laundry room, so we can't hear anything. He doesn't drive, Ubers to work, so thus doesn't have a car, never asks us for a thing, just comes and goes as he pleases, pays his rent on time, and is quiet. Occasionally you hear him as he is playing an online game. and talking to some people. He has never had a person over, though occasionally leaves for a week to go to a convention. He has no family, no relationships, etc. He has been in the same call center job for the past 6 years. I occasionally check his room for dead bodies and general hygiene. No food trans piling up and molding kinda stuff. He is just your quiet nerdy guy who is our ghost. We invite him out to dinner sometimes. He doesn't say much. Old roommate used to get home after a day of work, sit down on the couch, and stare at the wall/blank TV screen for sometimes a solid hour. Also used to bake stuff like meatloaf or salmon and leave it out on top of the stove for days, picking at it until it was too dry to chew without fracturing his teeth. Never really had any issues with him, but it was weird AF. Not me, but my girlfriend's brother went through this. He lived in a quad with 3 other dudes, all met through Facebook before moving in. Everyone was pretty normal until about a month in. The one guy would never leave his bed and would only eat pizza. He would leave the empty pizza boxes in his bed and either sleep with them on top of or under him. He never threw them out. The real nail in the coffin was when he apparently clogged the toilet. The plunger wasn't getting the job done, and after 15 minutes he panicked. He walked out of the bathroom, took a wire hanger out of his closet, fashioned it into a stick, and went back in. The toilet flushed. He came back out, fashioned the hanger back into a hanger shape, rinsed it off, and put his shirt back on the hanger into the closet. Roommate used to come home late and drunk often. He would raid the kitchen and eat all the food. Next day he would have no memory of eating it all. Presume it was me who had done it, then get cross. I would be awoken by the sounds of things hitting my bedroom door. Bumps, bunks, splats etc. It was him throwing the mess at my door. Would often wake up to food leftovers splattered all over the place. Baked bean, yogurts, all sorts of random stuff. Before I moved in, he had also covered up vomit with his sofa instead of cleaning it up, which I later found out about. Lived with him a year before I escaped. He was a nasty vile man. I used to live with a guy who would watch a particularly disturbing serial killer movie on repeat, in the dark, while sitting about 12 inches from the TV screen. He would never look up or say hi when I would get home. Just sit there in pitch black watching women get murdered on repeat. I had a roommate way back in the day who worked for a power company. He wore these massive steel toe boots. Makes sense. He would wear them all the time. Like, not just to and from work. Anytime we'd go out, he would wear them. Never sneakers or a different pair of shoe of any kind. The same. Beat up Red Wings. And the final kicker for me is that the seemingly only place he took them off was actually in bed. Now the thing is, we had a house with hardwood stairs and floors, and he kept somewhat odd hours and played D&D in the dining room every Monday night. So he'd clomp all day and all night whenever he was around. Monday nights were the worst because all his friends would be over. They'd order a ton of tequila and stay up till 2 AM. Actually no real problem with staying up, or the D&D or his friends, they were all pretty nice, but he'd absolutely clomp around whenever he got up. These boots were the most insane things I have ever seen on someone's feet. One day, he wasn't home, and I needed to reset the modem connection, which was located in his bedroom. I gave him a call and asked, "Yeah, no problem, go ahead." So I walk in, and there are his boots. The room smells awful. It was like weird stale popcorny smell, mixed with something that you just couldn't place. His boots are sitting on his bed. I was both surprised and horrified that this was a thing. Quick reset, shut the door. Roommate comes home later, and I'm chilling in the living room. He clomps in. Quick, he says hey, and bolts upstairs. I notice he's wearing a different pair of boots, and now I'm just so effing curious, because these look just-ish. A few days pass, and he goes out for the weekend. Yes, he's got his boots on. I can't stand it anymore. I just have to know what's up with his boot situation. I have literally zero need and this isn't going to help me in life, but I gotta do it. So, I go in his room. I'm sorry dude, and I see his effing boots. So okay, he's got 2 pairs of the same boots. Makes sense, you like what you like, and it's good to have a backup. The smell is horrific, but I peek around the room and notice the closet door is open. So I look closer. The effer has 4 goddamn pairs of these Red Wings. 4. And they all look just-ish, all the same color. Maybe not weird, but definitely strangely obsessive. No flip-flops. No sneakers. No dress shoes. And the whole effing closet smelled. I never asked. I never mentioned it to him. Just so effing weird. Woke up to sound of shouting on bullhorns and found cops in backyard telling me to get back inside. Went to front of house to figure out what was going on. As I opened the door, cops rushed up and escorted me out to street. Turns out one roommate threatened another roommate with a gun, and now that person was barricaded in his room with an army helmet on and bulletproof vest. There was 7 others living there, some home, some not. Had to draw a diagram of all the rooms because cops couldn't risk going in right away as we didn't know who was all home or not. Roommate started to taunt cops by throwing lit strings of firecrackers at them. This all started at around 8 PM. At 4 AM he started to throw large objects off of his balcony at cops, so they threw flashbangs and gas canisters at him on balcony. He managed to make it out of his bedroom, rush out the front door with gun showing, and took cops around blind corner from him, rushed him, and took him down. Suffice to say I moved out the next month.